ngifuna linanzelele a point which I'm trying to drive you at. Asikabi kuma definitions, but we still work with what we think we know. It's because all genocides, underline the word, all genocides are planned. All genocides are what? Are planned. Umuntu wenza genocide, umphoqazo, uyabe lecebo plan yakhe. Like you going to shop, I do humble a shopping list. You get the point. So each genocide is always what? Planned. And in the planning, the most important thing they plan for is the cover. The most thing the perpetrators plan for is what? The cover. How do I destroy evidence? So even if there is international law, even if there is all those things to avoid genocide, people want to perpetrate genocide, continue to perpetrate genocide. Nengayani? Bazaphika. Bazaphika athi umbone ngaphi? Awuzakuthini? Ungibone ngapha ngenzanga lutho. Ngifuna ukuzwisisa. And the second point ngifuna lizwisise ukuthi all genocide are covered by a pretext. I will give this example because most of you are young women and girls. When it's a bad example, but it's an example you live with fear. When a young woman or any woman for that matter has been raped, what is the excuse of the rapist? Uyathina urapist. Ubegqoke kubi man. Uma vele ngasibona isiketi sakho nathi esigqokile. You get the point. So every genocide, the blame is always on the victim. Every genocide, the blame is always on the victim. And the perpetrator or the rapist or the criminal always has a reason. Lo uthi hayi ubegqoke njani? Uyazi ngiyongivayite erumini yakhe. Angithi she was suggestive. So she led me on. You get the point. So usually the perpetrators of genocide will say there was a war, there was terrorism, there was bandit. We were trying to bring peace. Is the ground getting familiar now? And this was a city. You killed defenseless men, women, and children. You don't touch children, you don't touch women, and you don't touch men who are not fighting. They must be protected in all war. That's an international belief in all cultures, isn't it? But in genocide, you bulala wonabo. Pesa kutoka tu bulela bafazi, pero wabulala labantwana, wabulala lamadoda katengala. Ati no, I didn't intend to kill them. I was fighting those who were what? Who were armed. Basebe baleka besiyangena ngaphi? Kulabana labana bavuma ubanika ukudla babafihla. So mina bengasakwazi ukuthi o armed lo unarmed ngobani. Do you get it? So the world of war, we have to look at the different types of genocide so that you understand your particular situation. Then why are we bringing the issue of imperialism and colonialism? They will come as we go. It starts with Europe. Europe. UK. When Europe felt it was economically powerful, it was technologically powerful. When they thought they were militarily powerful, they decided to say, you want to go out and they conquer the other space. You're in charge. The barman stop selling. So is showing what? How. So when Europe also, it thought it was so powerful economically, militarily, technologically, it said, yathi no, umhlaba ngowalo olamandla. Yathi umhlaba ngabani? Ngiyalo olani? Olamandla. So what did Europe do? Europe went to America and Asia. Mfuna ukuzwisisa lokho, or else itopic esikhuluma ngayo angeke izwisise. When they got there, they found so much wealth. They found so much wealth. Golide, diamonds, tin, whatever you can think of. Rubber, isasha, timber, yonke into ongayicabanga was there. Kwakunganabantu yini in those countries? Akulalizwe, akulandawo emhlabeni engazange ibe labantu. Yayilani? Yayilabantu. But if you want a piece of land, and that piece of land already has someone who calls it his or her home, athi golide leli ngelami, silver leli ngelami, diamond leli ngeyami, so kumele wenzeni? Traditionally kwakusiba yini? Kwakusiba yimpi. Wawusithi ungalwa umehlule avume ukuba ngubani? Umfana wakho kumbe inkazana yakho, angithi ukuthi umthele ukuthi every 2 months ngizakwenza thathani umthelo. So kuzosisi ngoba vele izizwe zonke awunasizwe esakaze sehlulwe ngesinye isizwe in history. Awunasizwe ongazenzani sehlulwe ngesinye isizwe. So ukuthi ubani wa rate ubani is normal. But this time it was different. The Europeans decided ukuthi no, i-America lisenjani siyayifuna, i-Canada lisenjani siyayifuna, i-Australia lisenjani siyayifuna, i-Argentina lisenjani siyayifuna, i-Brazil lisenjani siyayifuna. Laba abantu abalapha angeke sihlale labo benjani bekhona. That's the origins of genocide. It came with imperialism and colonialism. What did they do? They started mass killings of the indigenous Americans and the Aborigines in New Zealand and Australia. You see it in every move. And you have a movie in London. Babe babulala in mass killings. But when they set up a trophy, which is let's go for hunting. And I guess we go for hunting. So we said to Impala, Pala, as part of it, trophy hunting. But when Babe said to Babe said was that because they had to finish a certain group of people who owned the land, they take that land. What we must know is that genocide succeeded in America. If genocide what? Succeeded in America. If you go to America, the majority and the owners of America mobile is Europeans. And America is white. Now Trump will say, let's keep America, the White House white. Where Portugal? Where Obama the White House, they can do an omiyama wenzani. You get the point. Because that is now a white man's country. So is New Zealand, so is Australia, so is Canada, so is Brazil, so is Argentina, so is the rest of now white America, whether it's South and North. See how this is? That was colonialism and imperialism. Asika khulumi ngeAfrica. Asika njani? So kumele sikuzwisise ukuthi abamhlophe bathathe America 500 years bengakabuye eAfrica. Yakuzwisisa? Babuye eAfrica vele sebevela ngaphi? Sebekwenzile konke lokhu baphumelela. You understand it? Babuye eAfrica sebenzani? Sebenzi i-colonialism, baphumelela, benza i-genocide, baphumelela, ba-destroy ama-cultures, bathathe baluta, kwaba successful. So when they came to Africa, base be powerful bonke. Base besithi no, it would give us problems in Africa. Ngoba Germany powerful, England powerful, Spain powerful, Portugal is powerful. Then Bismarck called a conference of Europeans in 1884. The Europeans agreed ukuthi Africa sizashare lasingani. Now usushare iAfrica uzafaka iflag yakho sitshela ukuthi indawo le isingabani? Isingeyami. Angithi. But in so doing, there was no African owayekhona kuleyo conference. It was a conference of Europeans deciding how to share Africa. And Africa indeed was shared in 1884, ain't it? But in the sharing of Africa, they ignored the original boundaries, if they were there. So you find in Africa, one tribe being split into 4 countries. You understand it? One tribe being split into 4 countries. So if you are one tribe and we have been split into 2, 3, 4 countries, it means ususiba a minority there. Angithi loba libaningi lindawonye but nxa seliscattered sebisiba yini ama minority. Understand that the problem of genocide in the world is the problem of minorities. Yebo. Siyabo. The problem yani ama minorities. So in Africa abantu basplitter linguistically, culturally, religiously by any means. Ngoba divider wengadandaba lawo. They were not human beings. You know that. There was a time mina lani sasingaconsider as what? As human beings. Because this is if you have to understand the genocide. Because if you are not a human being, if I kill you ngonile, ngingabulala igundane lecala. So ngingabulala into enjengawe ngasiyo umuntu ngilecala. Kuyafana. You understand it? So that is what happened. But the European, when he came to Africa, why say the experience of colonialism? If I steal something from you here, Dr Hadebe later into a bese qasha uxabana lithi mina ngiyaphuma lapha nginyenye ngitshaye phansi angithi ngoba lokulola vela uncedo sengihambelani route. So linanzelele iprinciple of divide and rule ngemihlobo langenkolo langobulili. We are not saying Africans respected women as we would have wanted, but you should understand also how colonialism actually separated men and women. Idorobho leli lingakhelwanga abafazi andiyawazi. Ikoko kuthiwa ngama-bachelors lamasili. Wayesithi umuntu ongumama angabuya edorobheni achajwe ngokuthi uze kwenza i-prostitution. Ngenxa yokuthi wengadingeki emsebenzini. Kanti umsebenzi esikwazi umsebenzi wabomama wawususetshenziswa kwabani? Ngamadoda angithi. Angithi amadoda wayesepheka, wayesethelela, wayesesendlula ingubo. So umfazi usefunani la? I-vagrants leyo imgcina ngaphi? Emakhaya. So if you go and read your literature, you read your novels, lazo ziportraya ukuba semakhaya njengento enhle. Whether it's a Shona novel, it's a Ndebele novel, it's a Sotho novel, it's a Venda novel. Ngoba yi-colonialism esisebenza ngaphi? Emakhaya. So is the issue of umhlobo. It's planted in our religion, in our practices, in everything, in our laws. Ngaleso sizatho-ke i-Africa kwase kusiba le World War. Yokuqala World War engikhulume ngayo eyadiza ama-empires laba abantu ababesuke bathatha baququza umhlaba wabantu. Bathe sebesilwa kodwa they became weak. When they became weak, laba bebabusa basebesithi sifunani? Inkululeko. You understand the breakup of empires? Siqalise nge-imperialism ithatha umhlaba. Basebesilwa bona kodwa, bringing the breakup of the empires. So empires eventually break up. When they break up, new nations come out. Does it make sense? Remember, ilizwe leli lithi Zimbabwe. One day, lake lahlangana le Zambia, lahlangana le Malawi, kwaba ilizwe elinjani? Ilizwe lani? Lama British angithi. Kodwa sithe sekuthola independence, i-empire idilika, iMalawi yaphuma yaba ilizwe, iZambia yaphuma yaba ilizwe, that eventually iZimbabwe yaba yini? That's how empires were collapsing all over the world. Ngifuna ukuzwisisa lokho. But e-Africa bathe sebefuna i-independence, which is driven by nationalism. Maybe nationalism lives, you can't understand the genocide if you don't understand nationalism. In nationalism is the spirit, the feeling yabantu. Abathi ngoba sikhuluma ulimi lunye, silembali inye, silokholo lunye, silendawo yethu inye esihlala khona, kufanele sibe yisizwe. Understand nationalism? We have the same language, we have the same history, we have the same culture, we have the same territory. So we must be a nation with its own government. Do you understand it? But in Africa, can you get in Africa a country with one language, one culture, one history? It's not possible. But now we get independence with the spirit of what? Of nationalism. Etini, one language, one culture, one history, and one territory. Here was the longest city. We want Zimbabwe, one nation, one great Zimbabwe, one river. You understand some of your catchphrases. Oneness, that's the spirit of nationalism. You can say, when I go to language in my country. You get the point? When I history, if you can't trace yourself to Lopemona, so when Zani, if you can't trace to Mbuya Neranda and Sekuru Kakoi, so when Zani Zimbabwe. Because Zimbabwe is a reincarnation, is the rebirth of the Mutapa state. And you say, tell Lomun Mutapa Lakates. Yeah, you get some of those things. If you want to say you are Mtwagas, do you understand what you are saying? If you want to say you are in Tampa now, do you understand what you are saying? You are saying those who don't belong must die. They don't belong. So if they don't belong, they are cockroaches. If they don't belong, they are what? That's Pambanisa. Because the spirit of nationalism, a nation must be pure. A nation must be pure. Funa nxa ukhulumisa indebele esinjengesika Hadebe. Antu Hadebe nguyistandard yesindebele. Nxa ukhulumisa indebele ukhulumisa njengesika bani? Njengesika Hadebe. Ungakhuluma sika Hadebe sisikubuza ukuthi wena ungwangaphi. But can you all speak like Hadebe? Aliveli bele esikotini. You get the things that bring nations down. So if Africa cannot have the nation state the way maybe Europe did. Like Europe had much challenges, but the Africa very totally out. But in Africa, it is a touch independence. The former organization of African units. So that Africa does not continue suffering. Sibambani njengabantu abansundu ebesithunjiwe ebesikusukuluzwa sibe ngama-brothers and sisters. Basebesithi manje i-Africa siyibusa njani ngoba wena ukulelizwe lakho lathathwa lahlanganiswa lelizwe lami. You get the point? Wena ukulelizwe lakho lathathwa lahlanganiswa lani lelizwe lami. Senze njani nxa sesithatha independence? Silibuyelele yini ilizwe lakho kumbe siqhubeke ngani ngaleli lizwe lakhiwe ngama-British kumbe ngama-French kumbe yini ngama-Portuguese? I want to cite not the Zimbabwean situation ngoba iba sensitive because ngithatha sikhuluma eZimbabwe sakhuluma ngamanye amazwe. I will talk about the Nigerians. One of the respected Nigerian politicians and scholars, Use Amadu Bello, since 1914, the British government has been trying to make Nigeria into one country. The British have been trying to make Nigeria into one country. But the Nigerian people themselves are historically different in their backgrounds, in their religious beliefs, in their customs, and do not show any sign of willingness to unite. Is that not familiar? Is that not familiar? These people zangubaleta ndawonye. But kuona vele abazibone benjani? Bengaba ndawonye. Bathi mina phela mvelale impilo yethu ingesiphila so sidla lokho. Labana bagqoka so badla lokho abafani lathi. You get the point? Then another Nigerian scholar and a politician, say Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, in 1948, Uti Nigerian unit is only a British intention for the country. The unit of Nigeria, into yani, yama British afungenze Nigeria achitina. Can you substitute that to Zimbabwe? Can you substitute that to South Africa? Can you substitute that to DRC? One of Africans was born and belong to countries that were created by the white men. Then the Africans the African leaders said, in 1963, or 1964, baphuma lo mthetho esiwubiza sithi Cairo Declaration. Why Cairo? Ukuthi babe se Egypt angithi baphuma le Cairo Declaration. But the division that was made by the white men in 1884 must not change when Africa gets freedom. The division that was created by the white men esehlukanisa abantu ebafaka emazweni abangenzani abantu abangazwanani akusanjani akusaguqulwa kodwa athina ama-Africans that this unit is created by the British on Nigerians, not us. But the same African leaders sit down bathi bona no lokho kwenziwe ngumBritish asenjani asekuguqulwa seli yebo sesiqede. We are done with that one. Don't worry about ukuthi kunenge besingakutsho. What is important is that siyakuphika kancane okungama-snippets of the history of the background. Lokuthi ama-genocide, even if you did the genocide in this country, you are not the inventors of genocide. The genocides have always been there. And there are forces, there are pull factors that make people feel ukuthi laba bona sizaqedelana labo. Uze sithi benza lokhu nalokhu athini athi bayeke. People were asking him, what are you going to do about the Jews? Why is it? Don't worry, we have a final solution. Ungazihluphi ngalaba sizaqedelana nabo. Is that not familiar? That's familiar. So we break Sizelule for 5 minutes. We move to the next stage. This was just background to show the bigger picture. At the next session, defining Gukurahundi in light of the broader history. I hope it makes sense. Thank you.